Well, hello, y'all. I haven't been here in a while. And honestly, I can't believe I'm doing this one because I've kept this a secret for decades because I like the attention of being able to make this for other people. Well, here goes. In my old age, I guess I'm getting generous. I am making my world famous restaurant style salsa. Okay, maybe Southeastern famous. Anyway, I'm making my salsa, and it's kind of a big deal. So let me give you the ingredients first. We have two of this type of tomatoes. You might see it as Rotel. I was at another store that makes their own brand, and that's just what I had in the pantry, so it's what I'm using. I need a 28-ounce size of the whole tomatoes. Now, the whole is so much better because of it's packed in its own juice and it doesn't have all that stuff in there that keeps the, there's stuff that, like if you got the petite diced, there's a chemical added to help it keep its shape. Yeah, we're not interested in that. I got the no salt added because frankly, that's all they had on the counter. I need the salt in it, but I can always add the salt. I'll need about 1/4 cup of a chopped onion. Don't know how many jalapeños I'll need because they all have different flavors, so I'm gonna have to taste it. Same with the salt, I'm gonna have to taste it. Definitely need cumin. That is the ingredient that gives it that extra flavor. The half of a lime, juice from half of a lime, but these are, my husband, bless his pumpkin heart, bought these and they're hard as a rock, so I'll be lucky to get a half of a, but really not much of that. That can overpower it. And then a clove of garlic, but you know me, I'm a little more garlic kind of thing. I don't know if I said anything about the cilantro, but you can add that to taste. I love cilantro, so it will be heavily cilantroed. And then the surprise ingredient, tad of sugar. Why am I adding sugar? Because the tomatoes are very acidic and they need some balance. So anyway, I'm going to start chopping up and then I will join you quickly and we'll get this show on the road. Once you get the chopping done, it's really easy to put together, but you're going to have to taste a lot and get it to your preference. So I'll come back in just a minute. Okay, so here's what I do. I use a food processor. Don't use a blender because a blender makes the tomato frothy and foamy. That's maybe a better word. But I put the cilantro, maybe 3/4 of that bunch, this is what's left, in there so that it can be chopped up along with the onion, and the garlic is over there. Oh, and I will also drop about half of a jalapeno, seeds and everything, because you can always heat it up, but you can't take it out, okay? So the reason I do this first is because I find it chops better before I put in the liquid tomatoes. The cilantro has a tendency to go to mush once you add the liquid. So I'm going to pulse this a few times. And here's another way you can make it your own by making it as thick, you know, as chunky or as smooth as you want. I'll probably go a little smooth because I'm going to share this with my son and that's how he likes it. And when you're a mommy, even though he's a full-grown man with a child of his own, you still do what your baby boy wants. So I'm going to pulse and I'll show you in a minute. Bye-bye. Okay, so I did the pulsing. You see, it's still kind of chunky, but that's because there's more pulsing to come. This is my stack of spoons so I can taste and not, you know, double dip. Okay, so I put about half of that onion in there. Here's the other half, so that's about the size that I put in there. Just because I can add more, but I can't take it out. So I have, this is the lemon juice I got from one of those dried up lemons, and so I was quite surprised about that. This is a 1/4 tablespoon of sugar. Honestly, I think I said this, I might be adding more. I've cut up 1/2, here's the other half, of the jalapeno. Not cut it up, I just put it in there. Because you can add more, but you can't take it away, and you don't know how hot they are. So here's my tomato products. Now, what I do is I actually use my scissors. Yes, they're clean. And I cut these tomatoes just to give them a head start, because the others are already chopped. So anyway, this will just get them going good. It's no big deal. You don't even have to do it, but it's what I do. So now I'm going to start dumping. I dump. I dump. To the dump, 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 dump. Yeah, that was free. Okay, there's that. Ooh, I can already smell it. There's that. Okay. Both of these. Now, don't judge me, but I can't tell you how much I'm using. So, usually with tomatoes, you're going to need a pretty good amount. Let's start with maybe 1/2, 3/4 of a tablespoon. See what happens. And then I'm going to add, I do like the taste of cumin, so yeah, it's pretty generous. Okay, now I'm going to pulse all that up. I'm not adding my lime juice yet. I want to taste it first, okay? Okay, so this is about the consistency I like it. Our son likes it a little more chopped up. So I may just take some out from me, but I just tasted it. Believe me, it will. You'll taste it and you'll go, what's the big deal? Now is when you get to make it your own. So it definitely needs the sugar. So I put the sugar in it just to cut the acid some. I also put about 1/2 of that lime juice. That's what's left. It was about that much because it needed to be brightened up a little bit. And I'm going to drop in the rest of this jalapeno because it definitely needs some more heat. And but that's why you just pulse it. By the way, if you let it go, it has a tendency to come over the edges and makes a real mess. But pulsing it is good. You have a little more control. I'm going to coarsely chop this and drop it in there and hope to get some more heat. Stay tuned. Okay, here's my second tasting. After adding the jalapeno and some salt. Let me see. Okay. Definitely needs more cumin. That's not a surprise. I always have to add a lot of extra. It's bitter, so be careful. If you have to add more, you might want to top it up with just a teeny bit of sugar. And it needs more salt. Salt kind of brightens the taste up. We're going to pulse it again. Okay, with a clean spoon, I'm going to taste it. Okay, so see now, it's really good, but I get a little bit of a bitter flavor to it, so I'm going to add maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. You'll be surprised what that does, and I think that may be it. Now, let me remind you, as this sits, it gets better. So as it sits, it's going to get a little hotter too. Okay, let me get a little bit of sugar. Okay, this is my last clean spoon. I'm going to have to get out more if this isn't good. I added a little sugar to it because the cumin or the tomatoes made it a little bitter. Let's see what happens. Oh, I also added the other 1/2 of the jalapeno. That's a personal preference. We just like ours a little hot. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get ours out now. I will send my son home with this and with this, and he can hot it up because he likes it hot. But for us, I think this is good. I think it needs a tad of this. Okay, that sugar, though, made all the difference. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the salsa go down. The salsa go down. The salsa go down. Yeah, I just made that up. At the beginning, I didn't mention this, but at the beginning, when I put the cilantro in there, don't try to cut the leaves off. Just cut off the stalk and everything, because honestly, the flavor is in the stalk. And it will be ground up to the point that you won't even know, you don't know that it's in there. But see, that's a consistency I like. And yeah, now I'm going to go sit on this a while and decide if I'm really going to post it and share my top secret recipe. Okay, if I post it and if you see it, let me know how you like it. Bye. Oh, I forgot to tell you something. This is real nerdy, but I like to make my own tortilla chips. There's just something about them coming straight out of the fryer that just melts me. I just use corn tortillas. I let the oil, whatever oil, you know, canola or peanut, of course, has a higher smoking rate, but or smoking tolerance. But anyway, it doesn't matter, whatever you have. And I take a pizza cutter and I cut them into six, you know, half and then 3 times. I put them in, and it's got to be in a hot one now, otherwise they'll get soggy. I put them in, I stand right there with them, and then I use one of those little spider things to lift them out, put them on a plate, and salt them while they're hot. I probably only do 3 maybe at a time, depending on 3 full tortillas, depending on the size of you don't want to crowd the pot. But oh my gosh, that's so fabulous. Okay, that's all. I'm really going to quit now. Happy salsa making if I decide to post it.